Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do another video for you guys and gals. Let me get a sip of my water first. Get my beautiful radio voice going and let's talk about this. You know, I see this all the time when people want to try all these new things because what they're doing they think it isn't working. So they want to try the newest, silliest things instead of going with time-proven stuff because they don't work hard enough, consistently enough, and long enough. Okay? Special exercises will never, ever replace hard work and consistency. And in some cases, they may offer a small advantage for people who already have everything dialed in as some sort of finisher or prehab movement or whatever. But by and large, they are never going to be your secret to building the base of your gains or even the majority of them. They just will not be. And I think back would be a perfect example because I see people do a lot of really silly stuff trying to build their back instead of sticking with what works. And use me as a perfect example. That's why I've started applying the same stuff I do for my back, I've started applying it to my arms, right? Because I know that my arms need to get caught up. I want my arms to be my best body part, they're my worst, and I know what built my back. Now that I'm doing bodybuilding stuff instead of strength training entirely, my arms have to get caught up. And I didn't train them consistently enough or hard enough. Perfect example. Well, let's talk about back. You guys ever see me talking about squeezing and contracting my back like crushing a walnut? Squeezing this exercise? You ever see me do one arm lat pull downs trying to line it with the muscle fibers? No. And yet I have pretty much a pro bodybuilder quality back. I've had plenty of people say that, been other people's words. In spite of the rest of me not being there. But how did I build my back? Training really, really hard on rows, pull-ups, and deadlifts for years. And please note I've done different variations of those. So this week, what did you see me do? Deadlifts, you saw me do deficit deadlifts for sets of 5 to 6 on a 2.5-inch deficit, right? Standing on a bumper that tall. That's how I did my deadlifts. I did wide grip weighted pull-ups. My last set, I did rest pause, right? Pretty much got to failure, let go, waited a few seconds, squeezed out another rep. I did barbell rows. I did one-arm dumbbell rows. All of those with a deep stretch. All of them we went hard. Everything probably in about the 5 to 12 rep range. Most of those sets to failure. That's how I trained my back. Didn't need anything special. Didn't need anything special. We did the basics and we trained it really hard and I've done it for years and years. It works and we work all the angles, right? It's not special exercise. It's saying, okay, what are the different angles and functions of these parts of the back? So let's work each of those functions, right? Those pick movements that work them all and that we train really hard on. And it really is that simple on a lot of stuff. And you know, the thing is someone will say, well, and I'll say, if you want big lats, get real strong at weighted pull-ups. Notice I didn't say 1 rep max. I'm talking get your 5 to 10 rep max on weighted pull-ups real strong. And I promise you'll have lats, particularly if you stretch at the bottom. You can move big weights for a lot of reps from a deep stretch position on any muscle. That muscle will get big. I don't care what the muscle is. All right. They're like, well, I did that for a little while and I didn't get the results. So now I'm trying the one arm lat pull down, trying to line it up with the muscle fibers, which again doesn't work. It's on the other side of a joint. Do you know how stupid that idea is? It's one thing if it affects maybe where your scapula move, but the idea that the muscle fibers align on the other side of a joint, you're failing physiology here. This is a physiology fail. Okay, because they're all inserting into a point, right? At that joint through a tendon, and then those fibers oftentimes spread back out from there. All right, there's nothing to do with fiber alignments. It has to do with how those muscles pull on that joint or not. But they'll do stuff like this, and they're going to do them that way. And it's like, do you ever seen anyone build a massive back doing that? Probably pretty rare. How have you seen people build massive backs? Heavy pull-ups, rows, and deadlifts. It's like, how do you see people build massive biceps? Is it really from doing a 3-second peak hold with a cable curl? Or Have you seen people get real strong at different types of barbell and dumbbell rows, or curls, I mean, right? Oftentimes preacher curls, or preacher curls tend to be very associated with big biceps. People who train preacher curls hard tend to have big biceps, especially that lower part. But you do these basic movements, work a few different angles. But you come over to the back thing, and they do this stuff, and I'm like, so then you switch to the other. Well, what happened? You just lost all your progress. So it's like people restart. The same thing when they try to do too much. They come in and throw 20 sets of muscle group, 25 sets, 30 sets for a muscle group in a week. Then they burn out, or they get a minor injury, and then guess what? Your consistency goes away. Just doing more is not training hard. Training hard is training hard. Training more is just training more. It could be more half-ass effort. Half-ass effort will lead to half-ass results. Okay? Very straightforward. And just doing more of it is still just half-ass results. So you do this, and you go over these silly movements, and then you regress on the one thing that was probably helping you. So then you start back over. When it doesn't work, you're like, well, I'll go back to it again. Okay? The reason you don't have a back is you never said, I'm going to get real strong at weighted pull-up and weighted pull-up variations. I didn't even include us. I didn't even say the rows or deadlifts there. Just talk lats. If you had just focused on getting really strong at your rep work on weighted pull-ups for 3 or 4 or 5 years, because what's consistency over 3 months means nothing. Consistency is the long term, just like your diet. Okay? You want good body composition, you're going to have to be pretty consistent on your diet for years. So it's the same thing with building muscle as well. Long-term consistency. Did you put in the work for 5 years on that? With no downtime? Because you got hurt from overuse, or you just got burned out from these 2-hour, 2.5-hour workouts you've been doing? Instead of just training hard? Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. You even need more than an hour in the gym. It's because you're kind of coasting and chilling on purpose, or because you're just doing too much. The majority of you out there could get about as big as you're going to expect to get with some 1-hour workouts. 3, 4 of them a week. Okay? Probably not training that hard if you're trying to do more than that, because you wouldn't be able to. So they go over and they do these silly movements. Well, what happens? They regress, because they're not doing the hard work they were doing before. Now they've detrained, and then they start back over again, remaking the little bit of gains they originally had. And then when it's not fast enough, they're no longer consistent. Right? Hard work and consistency trump all of this nonsense. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.